that trip and you're terminally ill, we all experience those times when we are on a trip and the last day when it's time to come home, we're all just kind of depressed because we don't want to go back to the real world and working and dealing with school and homework and all the other things that come along with being a parent. But for us, it was always it was extra not only depressing, but there was a lot of anxiety that maybe that was our final trip. So when you're in the situation that our families are, it could be you're one scan result away from finding out that you have 6 months or less to live. So that's usually on the minds of some of the families we benefit. So really, the travel is an escape, but and it's a blessing to those we serve, but it's also what we've found to be a temporary band-aid with the first couple of families we've benefited. So we really want to take a caregiver focused approach to benefiting these families through Take the Trip and really explore methods to empower the caregivers. And we feel that partnering with other nonprofits that already offer resources that our families can benefit from can allow us to offer more and just kind of act as a vehicle to make those connections with maybe some smaller scale organizations that have resources that our families could benefit from without spreading ourselves too thin. Allowing mental health experts to act as optional resources to those we serve. So we have a local therapy group that wants to donate hours of their days throughout the month to serve our families if maybe they haven't tried therapy and they want to give it a try and see if it's for them or not. We also have a hypnotherapist that myself, Sissy, and a lot of other family members and friends of mine have given a try, and it's really been impactful for them. So we just want to make these available for them so that if this is something they want to look into, then it's there for them. But based off of what we went through and what was taken very seriously in our house, like mental health was a huge thing, and I think that sometimes there's got to be a correlation between the success of a cancer patient and the support staff they have at home. So the more we can empower these caregivers, hopefully it can benefit the families as well and the patients. And if we want to enable like-minded, compassionate individuals and business owners to offer services tailored to the ease of burdens of day-to-day needs of our families. Doing so, I mean, it shows other families that are going through what we have that they aren't alone. Sometimes it's nice just to talk to another family that gets it, to another caregiver that is experiencing the same things as we are. And it really wasn't until the foundation came about that I really started to connect with other individuals and was able to be of value to them. I talked to a guy one time. He's like, "Does your wife ever just like 1 second she loves you and the next second she's ready to stab you?" And I was like, "Yeah, at least a dozen times a day, But it's our jobs to understand that this is not them and love them through it until the very end. And you just gotta sometimes step up and walk out of the room and let them calm down." Um, yeah, I mean, it's things like that. It's just able to relate with somebody who gets it, and it makes a huge difference for them. But if we can do this, I feel like we can get them away from, the fears of what's to come and the uncertainties, enable them to be more present for their families. As I said before, I think there is that strong relationship correlation between the success of a fighter as well as those supporting him at home. Um, if we can empower them to be mentally stronger and take some of the loads off their plates through individuals that get involved to help them out, perhaps it can lead to a better quality of life for the patient. So it's a very alternative, approach to benefiting families impacted by cancer. But for so long, there's not been enough of a focus on the caregiver. So this is also it comes down to this. I mean, the patient and the caregiver, they're kind of bound by one common fear, and that's the fear of, for the patient itself, it's anxieties of not being alone, um, and once that loved one is well, actually, no. For the patient, it's more as the fear of their families being taken care of when they're gone and having the support they need for the spouse. The caregiver, it's more as me doing two different roles at home now without you know, and sometimes they're little small things that maybe the other spouse did, but it's you have all those anxieties that are constantly there throughout the entire time they're sick until they're gone, and then it gets even you know. Uh, worse with anxiety. But these children have anxieties of living without their mom and dad constantly as well. So I am putting it out there as the No Caregiver Left Behind or Forgotten initiative here. So we're here to inspire through hope through travel and to be an emotional support system that those caregivers buy. We want to build a community of compassionate individuals and local business owners that share desire to support needs for the young families that we support. Um, we want to, do our research and find resources that we can give them through their journeys with, battling a terminal illness, and also beyond the loss of that individual. A lot of times, a spouse dies, everybody comes to the ceremony. They shake and hug your hand, hug your neck, say, "Hey, I'm here for you, whatever you need." Then 6 months down the road, it's the real, uh, that's really when you see who those are that really are there for you. So we want to allow our families to lean on us, like not only leading up to the day they dread, but beyond that point, so they have a sounding board they can always lean upon. Um, we want to educate the public on how they can support a terminally ill family in need of support, because there's really a lot of times people don't know what to say or what to do. And more often than not, since they don't know what to say or do, they just end up not doing anything at all. So there's a certain point to, when prayers and best wishes might not be enough for a family like us or others. So we'll become more knowledgeable that the more families we support, and be able to kind of put those out there so that individuals know how to be more of a resource to those struggling with a terminal illness. So I mean, this really the foundation came to life due to the compassionate, selfless act of one individual who just wanted to do something nice for us, and that's the one thing he came up with. But we want to use our platform to really fuel more compassion, be paid forward to future families, and I think that we're in a world now where there's less and less compassion being seen. So, I mean, sometimes it's something as significant as a trip, and then sometimes it's just the awareness of an individual who's having a down day, or just maybe having a tough moment, and your acknowledgement of that willingness to be an ear for them is enough to show them that they're supported. All right. So how we get funded? We've got the marquee fundraisers like tournaments, 5Ks, and galas. Those are the big hitters for funding. They also take a lot of volunteers to support these and pull them off, but can provide a huge chunk for funding the organization. But then, from what we've seen, peer-to-peer fundraising can sometimes account for a third of all the online donations that are received for an organization. Of course, you've got your applying for grants, which is a huge contributor for operations and funding. But I mean, it could take as much as 6 months to get approval for these, and we're almost close to having our grant package ready. But then, even for anything we applied to in the next month, we're still looking at 6 months out. So we're always going to be looking for opportunities to raise funds, and in the meantime, the peer-to-peer is the best route. Um, so to date, we've had a few fundraisers that we weren't really directly tied to, but one of our friends, Sarah Bath in Mississippi, she handled the fundraiser for T-shirts, for the Sissy Strong shirts, and there's a huge response for that. So that alone, got us 6,000, almost enough for one family to support. We had a bourbon club in Tennessee that, they is from one of our old neighborhoods, and they, were able to use their contacts to organize a single barrel select for us to bottle up and put our logo on. So another $6,000 from that, as well as what they raised during the tasting. And then that same neighborhood about a month ago did a cornhole tournament for us, and did a silent auction that all the residents were able to contribute to. One individual is really on the phone getting people to get involved with this, but they didn't even market it outside the neighborhood, but still managed to raise $3,500. So I mean, there's a lot of different creative ways to generate revenue, but these were just some of the ones we did, and we're going to start selling. We got our Shopify account. We're getting up and going with t-shirt sales, and then we have a national strategic collaboration we're working on that can also provide a good large chunk of funding for the next year that we hope to pull through pretty soon. So upcoming events and fundraisers, we've got so in 2 weekends from now, we've got the Pilgrimage Festival, which usually has around a little bit over 30,000 attendees. So it'll be a great chance for us to get the word out there. Now, what would be even better if we were like totally like blowing up the artists that are going to be at this performance and seeing if we can get anybody to come by and check us out. But I'll save that for another day and get to work on that. But the 13th, we're going to be of May. We'll be doing our first annual golf tournament. Now, we hope to start with a 5K gala soon, but our gala is the gala. Yeah, let me get it right. But I mean, all these are very strong opportunities to raise money, but they take a lot of work. And the majority of funding of these will come from sponsorship from local businesses and corporations. So anyone who really wants to get involved in this can to help us out if they have experience doing this themselves, then that would be huge, greatly welcomed. But at the same time, perhaps they want to do fundraisers similar to this in their own market in the future. Because we've got people raising funds in South Carolina and Mississippi and Tennessee and Georgia, and then hopefully in Minnesota. So this is if this might be something that we can replicate, we'll be using, I know, some software for planning the golf tournament that will enable us to clone that event so that it could be, passed along as kind of a, guideline for others that want to do this. So the things that people can donate, besides money, there's volunteering their time, share a voice, cash, which actually makes up a small portion of the wealth available in the population that donate. You've got donor advised funds. So if we ever, you happen to be searching around, you see there's one local there to you. We hope to be able to equip our volunteers with the information they need to kind of go in there and be in front of these people, let them know about what we're trying to do, so that we can be at the forefront of their minds when it comes time to advise their clients on where to donate. Charitable stock giving, which is new to me, but is something that is also a huge opportunity for generating some giving. We've looked into we've heard of a different site that makes it simple for people to do this. So we hope to start promoting that in the future as well. Since we are travel based, I mean, anyone who has a lot of extra travel reward points or flyer miles or anything like that, go a long way for supporting what we're trying to do. And I mean, you go off and have enough points to cover a flight, and you've just lowered your cost of doing that trip by 30%. Vacation properties, if you know of anybody who has short-term rentals, we can always utilize these to connect a family with that if perhaps they can't do one of the more extravagant trips that we provide. But at the same time, when we start getting into doing like online silent auctions or silent auctions at events that are larger we host, then we can include those properties, to auction off, and that can get us a huge chunk as well. Um, any items of value that could be donated to a silent auction, so other business owners you're aware of, or has items that you think would be of value and popular with an auction, we're all about, and then corporate donation matching as well. So peer-to-peer, I mean, it's really just utilizing online outlets to, promote the foundation and raise money on our behalf. And we're using Give Lively as our platform for getting donations, and you can actually do a unique link that has your name on it, or perhaps your business's name on it, and then be able to track, how effective your fundraising efforts are. I always try to stress that, we've so far 95% or more of the donations we've gotten so far have been one-time donations, which, as a foundation, you'll take money any way you get it. But, I always say, that $25 like commitment each month goes a lot further than a one-time $100 donation, because it enables us to really forecast and comfortably project the amount of families we can support, and how much of an impact we can make in the communities around the families we support. So talking also to business owners in your local areas and encouraging them to help raise funds. So it might not be you doing an event, but perhaps of some places that do a lot of cornhole tournaments, or you have some contacts at a bar or a restaurant or something like that. And sometimes they might have, a drink or something like that they, name in honor of the foundation or something, and with a portion of proceeds coming to the foundation. So there's a lot of different ways we can get creative with it. But I know personally, every time I'm out to eat or out and about, I'm bringing up the foundation and asking them, like, is there any activities that you do as a business to support nonprofits, and are you open to hearing about, the one that we have to offer? From my experience telling the mission, vision, what we're doing as a foundation, it really gets the people's attention because we are unique. We're addressing a niche that no one else has in the past. And, we're not only just doing the trips, as we talked about, we're addressing the root issues of these families to improve the quality of lives for them. And also, anytime that we're getting anything out on social media, just helping us to share that, get it out there to more eyeballs. And then we can always have our, social media team draft up some different templates and other things that you guys could share out for us. And when you do, you would just attach your fundraising link there, and that would hopefully lead them to giving based off of what they're seeing. We're constantly getting some small portions from Facebook on a monthly basis, so there are individuals out there doing some of these birthday fundraisers. But you got a birthday coming up, or you see one of your close friends or family has one, just shooting them, maybe the link page, asking them to fundraise on our behalf, would be a huge help as well. So, thinking about it and breaking it down to make it, seem more attainable. Our budget per family is 7,500 currently, and so if we only started off with, let's say, I don't know, let's say if we had 12, peer-to-peer fundraisers that are, dedicated, committed, helping us out here, and each of them had a $7,500 goal. I mean, that could be achieved on online social media, or seeking support from, their friends and their networks, and by finding 25 people to commit to doing $25 a month. I mean, I think that's a pretty attainable goal for like an annual goal. That way, each person fundraising and just helping to share the voice for us is able to contribute, and it's kind of a nice feeling to know that one of these families going on a trip was made possible by the online efforts that you helped us out with. So, and obviously, the more peer-to-peer supporters that we can attract, the more families we can support. So, here is a little screenshot. So if you were to go to, there's a link to donate on our website as well as on social media. But if you clicked on that and it took you to Give Lively to donate, At the very bottom there, you can click on this button. I want to fundraise for this. And after doing that, it's going to lead you to, confirming that you want to, create one for yourself. And then after that, I just used, some cheesy. Candace Bourne was going to be on this call today, but couldn't make it. And her last name has an E at the end. So Born to Fundraise is the name of this page. And, you can put in your own little why section here. Why do you want to fundraise for us? And then set your own personal goal, put your image up there, whatever you'd like. And then, once you save that, it's, this is the page. Whenever you give out that unique link that you've got, it's going to automatically take that person to this page, and you're able to track how much you've raised for it. And pretty straightforward there. The something that we have access to, we're using the dot card. It's kind of like what do you call it, link tree. So it's kind of similar to that. So with this, this has all our social media, websites, all the stuff that our followers need. But you can actually go on our, I think it's pinned on the Facebook page at the top, but you can save the contact, and then, whenever you're around anybody, you can airdrop it to them. You can forward that contact to them, and encourage them to forward along to their others. But you always have this in your phone, so you can quickly pull it up and direct them on how to give, because they're more likely to do it in front of you if you're pressuring them to do it in a nice way. So, different ideas. You've got the golf tournament. We talked about bourbon tastings. The people who did the cornhole tournament for us. Getting some. I know I've recently talked to an ice cream place, Brewster's around here, and they are welcoming of us to come and support, put up a tent, give out information, and invite local schools to have spirit nights, with a portion of proceeds coming to the foundation. You can also do food trucks. You could, your local community, you could reach out to some different of your, food trucks that, you prefer, you think would be popular, and see what kind of, giving structure they have set up. Who knows, find a local band or something like that to get involved and provide entertainment. But that would be pretty low cost and an opportunity. A lot of the food trucks will give back like 20 or 30% of proceeds to whoever invited them to donate. So you've got the 5K. As I said, partner with local bars to see if they have anything that they're doing or they could use us to benefit for us. Or if they have events that we can just set up and give out some information, tell the story about Sissy and what we're doing and what we hope to achieve in the future. Yard sales, I mean, you get towards springtime, everybody's trying to declutter, and that might be something you could float out with a neighborhood or a church to have people donate to that. And it doesn't cost you anything, and all profit. But the something we've done in the past at one of our former neighborhoods was a like a neighborhood pub crawl. So everyone had their own little bar set up at their house with their favorite mixed drink or shot or beer or whatever it was. And we had a map that showed everybody who had registered to host, and then people paid to be part of the tour and crawl around the neighborhood. And so all the proceeds that you're collecting from that is it could be a fun event for your neighborhood, but also a great chance to raise some money for the foundation. We talked about corporate matching. So any of your companies, just talking to them to see if they offer this, and if so, how we can get ourselves, slide in there for being a beneficiary. Reaching out to local party bands and just discussing collaborations. I know this is something that Gina and I are going to work on with one of her and Sissy's favorite bands back in Myrtle Beach. So sometimes you can't afford the cost of those bands, but a lot of times they have the relationships with the restaurants and bars so that they can kind of be advocates for us and kind of float out some ideas where we can raise some funds from that without us having to really invest anything. And then we talked about the online silent auctions. We're hoping to find a good platform for that. And then we can probably look into doing like quarterly silent auctions to raise funds with our network of short-term rental owners and hotel partners and so forth, as well as anything that our volunteers can help us pull together to include. So, the process for individual fundraising, I mean, it's, we don't have a lead on fundraising yet. For right now, that would be, Sebastian and myself helping him out. But we want to put together a fundraising packet that really gives you all the resources that you'll need that a business might ask for. And then, consult with us, let us know what any of your needs might be. You can reach out to Andrea Potter, and she can start drafting up some posts that we can use on social media and some other marketing materials that would be very, very helpful while you're spreading the good word about Take the Trip Foundation. And that's all I've got. I know that we've got Mr. Billy Klein on here, which he comes from the fundraising world. And Billy, wasn't yours more like fundraising for schools?
Yeah, it was completely different. Mine was, I used to get kids all fired up to go sell magazine subscriptions in middle school. So it's a little bit different, but it was a ton of fun. And the amount of money that the schools made was incredible. So I'm trying to take all this in to try and find out where my strength might be. I love the niche for the caregiver. Jason, I never knew, until I read a post you put on Facebook, I never knew what you went through toward the end of Sissy's life. And it was a very strong post on Facebook where I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that, as she lost some of her sense. And I think you had said that she started taking it out on you and Jack. And of course that's going to happen, because the part of her that was dying was in her head.
Yeah.
It was a very strong post. I'll never forget reading it. And, I want to try and do what I can remote, from a great distance away. But taking it from the caregiver's perspective, I think changes things a little bit for me. It makes it even more valuable.
Yeah, I think, it was, as I said, we try to take a mixture of both Sissy and myself. And I know me personally, you know, I'm all about being able to help. I feel like focusing on when you're going through a tragic time in your life, if you're able to, kind of check yourself and be more aware and focus on the needs of others, then it kind of distracts you from your own things. But at the same time, um, it usually all comes full circle, when it comes to blessing others and being blessed in return. So it's worked for me the last 8 years, and it seems to be something that Jack is really picking up on, really big on. I mean, I know he prays every night for, the opportunity for God to lead us to a family that's going through what we are, so that we can be a resource to them and make their journeys a little bit easier. So it's huge to all of us. I know for Jackson and I, it's very, very important that we fulfill this commitment, but we want to make sense of the last 8 years and bring more purpose to it. So, just when individuals like you and Gene are on this call right now and just interested in help us out, I mean, it's humbling. It gives me a lot more confidence and fires me up a lot more. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Jason,
Sebastian, do you want the last? I'm sorry, Gina.
I was gonna say I have an idea for another fundraiser. We have less than 1 minute. Okay, a beef and beer, where like you roast a pig or you have like a deer. It's something we do up north. But anyway, you sell tickets, so you have raffles, you have like a Chinese auction, that kind of thing. It raises
Nice.
a lot of money.
Yeah, let's go hunt. Let's go hunt some hogs. All right. But yeah, I mean, any ideas you have, float them along, put out some posts to, your networks and social media and see if they have any good ideas as well. So when you get those, shoot over to us, and we're open to just about anything as long as it has a good enough return and doesn't suck up resources too much.